Roland Chan, founder and CEO of FindBob. And FindBob is the leading provider of transition management platforms for the financial services industry. Previously, I was a successor to a 25-year-old firm in Toronto with over 150 advisors. I serve on a number of national industry boards, and it's safe to say that I believe in the power of advice. All right. 7 years ago, a friend and advisor of ours unexpectedly passed away. For the 15 years that I'd known John, he provided financial advice to families and small businesses all across Ontario. Unfortunately, John was like the dentist with bad teeth. When he had passed, he had done so without a business continuity plan or a succession plan to protect the value of his most precious asset, his book of business. It took me over a year to have any of that value transferred to his wife, Stephanie, and by that time, close to 50% of that asset had eroded. Either consumers discovered that John didn't have a plan, or advisors, several of whom were at his funeral, poached those clients from beneath him. Not only did our firm lose assets to attrition, not only did the value of John's life's work erode, but he left his family in the lurch, and most importantly, he ignored his fiduciary obligation to his clients. Because you see, when consumers engage financial advisors for advice, they do so for the duration of their lifetime, not for the duration of the practice owners. And so this wasn't just John's fault. My firm had a responsibility too. And so I founded FindBob to address this massive industry problem. Did you know that the average age of the independent financial advisor is 59? Over 80% of practice owners don't have a written and actionable transition plan. There's over $2.5 trillion in assets controlled by advisors in their 60s who plan on retiring in the next 10 years with no next generation talent to transition to. Our industry is headed towards the perfect storm. Consumers are discovering their advisors have left them in the lurch and are taking their business, along with firms' assets, across the street to the competition. This creates a huge friction problem between advisors and their firms. According to a 2013 John Hancock study, 80% of advisors feel that the industry is doing a poor job in supporting their transition. 75% would switch to a firm that did. Advisors understand the importance of transition, yet they find the process far too daunting, and there's no easy way to find an adequate partner. Firms want to support advisors' transition, however, they lack effective and streamlined processes to do so. FindBob solves for this problem. We're creating a model where everybody wins. We help advisors discover opportunities within organizational walls, and when they do, we help protect and grow both firms' and advisors' most precious asset, their book of business. And so our mission is to ignite growth-conscious cultures by aligning firm and advisor interests for every firm in the world. Now, succession and transition aren't new topics. I'd argue, however, that transition programs within firms have failed. Transition programs within firms have failed because they've failed to recognize the needs of advisors and the necessary activity required to trigger the sorts of behavior that we'd like to see. And so FindBob is more than just an electronic marketplace. We're a behavioral economics business. And what we specialize in is eliciting the types of behavior that our clients would like to see. And so here's how we do it. We start by focusing advisors on transition outcomes and collecting data on what they're interested in, like buying, selling, merging, business continuity, partnering, or finding or becoming a successor. We couple that with data that we know about a firm's transition programs. And then we present meaningful goals that help them achieve those outcomes, like how to establish a business continuity plan or how to apply for financing. Each goal has measurable and actionable tasks that help them make progress towards those objectives. And as they learn more about an advisor's goals, relationship managers can now reach out to those advisors and have meaningful dialogue on how to achieve those objectives. As we collect more data, we create rich and beautiful profiles on those advisors that are visible within the firm's private, white-labeled marketplace. And is searchable by other advisors via a powerful search tool and are suggested via our sophisticated matchmaking. Now, we don't just match advisors based on business data, like how many assets do they have under management or how many clients they have. But we also match advisors based on interpersonal and psychological data as well. And when they're ready, they can connect with other advisors using a safe and secure private messaging platform. We also introduce game mechanics, like our showcases, which, like similar to auctions, increase that sense of urgency within those organizations. And we don't just provide relationship managers tools to have them interact with those advisors. We also, for the first time, give them the ability to analyze and underwrite the risk within their organization and prioritize which advisors they should be talking to first. They can drill down by interest, evaluate a practice for readiness, and even nominate appropriate transition partners within that organization. And just how are we doing? Well, with our Early Ventures Client Hub Financial, we're able to increase transition dialogue, stimulate transition behavior, protect close to $200 million in assets, and recruit 5 net new advisors to opportunities within FindBob, and that was just within a 2-week period during one of our showcases. Most importantly, we were able to allow relationship managers for the first time to have meaningful dialogue with those advisors on something other than just casework. And we're already generating revenue. Since launching with Hub at the end of 2015, we've added 2 more enterprise customers. We're currently sitting at 130,000 ARR and are profitable. With our current sales pipeline and 3 letters of intent, we plan on being at 360,000 ARR in the next 3 to 4 months. We stand alone as the only platform that focuses on internal transitions within the financial services industry. Internal transitions, experts would agree, is the best outcome for industry, for advisors, for firms, and most importantly, for consumers. And it should be no surprise that this is a large market. We're targeting the 10,000 medium to large firms with over 4 million advisors in North America, and at $250 a year, that's a $1 billion revenue opportunity. It'll cost $5,000 to acquire each of one of our enterprise customers with a lifetime value of over $4 million, not to mention the percentage we'll charge on each and every successful transition. As mentioned, I'm a successor to a 25-year-old practice here in Toronto. With over 150 advisors, we manage close to $100 million in assets. And I've assembled a crack team of technologists and financial professionals who are as passionate about protecting the power of financial advice as I am. And why now? Government and regulators have taken notice. In 2015, it was mandatory in 2 US states to have a business continuity and succession plan. As of June 28, 2016, the SEC introduced the Transition and Continuity Rule. The international fairness consumer movement is afoot. The time is now to adopt FindBob. We're looking to raise $500,000 to get to 20,000 active users and $5 million in revenue. With your support and the support of the right strategic investor, we hope to introduce the rest of the world to FindBob. Go Jays, go. Thank you.